The silence is wrong. Kale returns to the river reed shelters not with the weight of a kill on his shoulders, but with the lightness of failure and the heavy scent of blood that is not his own. He stumbles into the clearing, his face a mask of ashen terror. 2 hunters went out, 1 returns. The clan gathers, their movements swirl, their faces already edged with the question he cannot bear to answer. He holds up a single long feather, its crimson brighter than any sunset, tipped with the dark brown of dried blood. It is the only piece of jewelry he could bring back. The red-feathered death has claimed another. These are not the old dangers. The hulking, slow-witted stegosaurus they could outmaneuver, the lumbering brachiosaurus they could ignore. This is new. Their pack, displaced from the high plains by the long drought, has descended into their valley. The elder, Elara, names them from old tales Utahraptor. 6 of them, impossibly fast, covered in feathers that shift from earthen brown to a blood crest. They move with a terrifying synchronicity, a lesson in pack dynamics that is written in the eviscerated remains of the clan's hunters. They do not just kill for food, they kill for territory, and they see the small fires of these early humans as an infestation. The camp is a place of shadows and hollow stomachs. The children no longer play by the riverbank. The women, their hands raw from grinding tough roots, look to the ridgeline with every snap of a twig. This is a siege, the very fabric of their prehistoric life, a rhythm of hunt and forage that has sustained them for generations, is torn. Bor, the clan leader, his knuckles white around his flint-headed spear, stares into the fire. His instinct screams for retribution, for a charge into the brush to meet the enemy head-on, but he has seen the result of that thinking in the bloody feather Kale holds. Their ancient tools, their courage, are not enough. Elara approaches him, her steps measured. She is the keeper of their hominid history, a chain of survival stretching back beyond memory. Her voice low and raspy, she tells him they cannot fight a storm with a spear, that they must learn its winds. She points a bony finger toward the forest. They are not spirits, she insists, but flesh and blood. They have patterns, they have needs. We are not stronger, so we must be smarter. Her words are the first spark of a new kind of fire. It is an intelligence point, a pivot from pure reaction to cold, calculated observation. While the primal fear in their hearts calls for action, her wisdom demands stillness. Watch, learn, understand the beast that hunts you. The howls of the raptors echo from the tree line, a nightly promise of more death to come. The clan must choose between the slow death of starvation in their caves and the swift, violent end that awaits them in the shadows of the forest. Days bleed into a week of gnawing hunger. The clan's cache of dried meat is gone. The last of the tubers have been ground to a gritty paste. The children's cries are weaker now, a constant, sharp reminder of the closing jaws of their predicament. The red-feathered death is no longer just a threat in the forest. It is a tightening perimeter. The raptors grow bolder, their piercing calls echoing closer to the camp each night, their shadows seen flitting at the edge of the firelight. Bor watches Elara's face, seeing the grim acceptance there. They are being penned, systematically isolated from the world that feeds them. Her words to learn its winds are no longer a suggestion. They are the only path left. Bor and Kale become ghosts. They do not hunt, they watch. For 3 sunrises they shadow the pack, moving through the undergrowth like smoke, their bodies smeared with mud and wet leaves to mask their scent. They witness the raptor's terrifying intelligence. They see how one female, smaller than the others, uses high-pitched chirps to drive prey, a lone gallimimus, from a thicket, funneling it directly into the waiting sickle claws of the 2 larger males. It is a symphony of slaughter. But in this observation, a pattern emerges. The pack has a clear territory, a circuit they patrol from the river to the base of the western cliffs. And at the northernmost point of this circuit, the terrain changes. It's a place the clan has always avoided, a narrow, winding canyon of black rock, barely wide enough for 2 men to walk abreast, that ends in a box canyon at the foot of a towering, precarious rock formation. A fragile pillar of shale and loose scree that sings a low moan when the wind is high. It is a geological trap. It is their only chance. He lays it out on the cave floor, flat piece of slate for the spire. The entire clan huddles around the flickering light of the tallow lamp, their faces grim. This is a plan born of desperation, a testament to their primitive technology of the mind. Kale and two of the other fastest runners, Lyra and Fenn, will be the bait. They will drag the rotting carcass of a scavenged Parasei across the raptor's path, a scent to reach to ignore, and lead them on a chase into the mouth of the canyon. The rest of the clan, armed with long poles and heavy, bone-tipped prods, the pinnacle of their osteodontocratic technology, will be hidden on the cliffs above the spire. When the pack is trapped below, they will push, using their collective weight to bring the spire down upon them. It is a plan with no room for error. A single misstep, a moment of hesitation, and the bait runners will be torn to shreds. If the spire doesn't fall right, the enraged survivors will be trapped in the canyon with them. It is a community point forged in the crucible of absolute necessity. Every member, from the runners to the pushers, is a vital, load-bearing part of a machine designed for one single, violent purpose. The air is still, heavy with the coming dawn and the stench of decay from the Parasei carcass. Kale, Lyra, and Fenn drag it, their muscles screaming in protest, leaving a grotesque trail that cuts directly across the raptor's patrol route. They are a desperate offering. Above them, clinging to the crumbling ledges, the rest of the clan waits, their knuckles white on the ends of their heavy pushing poles, which are braced against the base of the whispering spire. Bor is with them, his eyes fixed on the tree line. The plan is a fragile thread stretched over a chasm of death. A single, piercing shriek cuts the morning silence. They have taken the bait. The runners drop the carcass and sprint. They don't look back. They hear the crashing in the undergrowth, the thudding footfalls of predators that can outrun a deer. The entrance to the canyon yawns before them, a dark maw of black rock. They plunge into its narrow confines, their lungs burning, the sound of their own frantic heartbeats drowned out by the guttural hisses of the pack behind them. They can feel the raptor's hot breath, smell their carrion stench. This is primal fear made real. The terror of the hunted, the absolute certainty that to fall is to be ripped apart. They scramble up the escape route at the far end, a pre-planned fissure in the rock face just as the lead raptor lunges, its sickle claw slicing a deep gash in Fenn's calf. But they are out. Below, the pack circles in confusion, trapped. 6 crimson-crested nightmares, screeching in fury, their heads whipping back and forth as they realize their mistake. Bor gives the signal, a low grunt that is barely a word, a command to push now. The clan throws its collective weight against the poles. The spire groans. Dust and pebbles rain down into the canyon. But the alpha raptor, larger and smarter than the rest, sees the movement. It ignores the runners and begins to leap up the canyon walls, finding impossible handholds in the sheer rock, scrambling towards the bushes. There is no time. The spire is tilting, but too slowly. In that instant, Bor makes the leader's choice. He shoves Alara back from the legend. With a final look at his clan, he jumped. He lands squarely on the alpha raptor's back, driving it back to the canyon floor. His weight, his entire being become the anchor that holds the beast in the kill zone. The raptor thrashes, its claws tearing him open, but he holds on, his final act an undeniable display of altruism. The spire gives way. It does not fall, it collapses, a tidal wave of shadened rock that fills the canyon with a deafening roar. The world becomes dust and thunder. When it settles, there is only silence. The canyon is gone, filled with a monument of shattered rock. The whispering spire is now a tomb for the red-feathered death, and for the leader who paid the price to silence it. The clan looks down, their faces streaked with grime and tears, at the river they have just bought back with the blood of their chief. This is the brutal calculus of survival for Homo sapiens. They have won. The victory is an echo in a silent valley. The clan slowly gathers by the river, the water now a symbol of both their future and their loss. The children, for the first time in weeks, touch the cool stream without fear, but the adult sea boars face in the ripples. They have stared into the heart of an apex predator and refused to blink. They did not win with fang or claw, but with a plan whispered in a dark cave, with the foresight to turn the earth itself into a weapon, and with the courage of one to die for the many. This is the brutal, beautiful genesis of their ascent, an answer carved in rock and bone to the world's most unforgiving question. This moment, this terrible triumph, is more than just survival, it is a declaration. It is the first sentence in the long, bloody history of a species that decided it would not be prey, a quiet turning point in the vast saga of prehistoric life when intelligence became the planet's most dangerous weapon. Their struggle is the bedrock upon which all our stories are built, a reminder that the courage to face impossible odds is not a legend but an inheritance. For the first time, they were not just surviving the world, they were changing it. And in the high mountains, a different kind of tremor shakes the snow from ancient peaks.